A world born not from truth, but from fear. And from that fear came endless suffering. Wars fought in vain. Battles waged not for wisdom or peace, but to serve the ambitions of the few who knew how to exploit those illusions. The universe is like a vast cloud drive, an infinite storage where every piece of information, every image, every trace of knowledge from millions of years still exists. Hello, my friend. Tonight, let's wander into one of humanity's oldest bedtime stories, the soul. For ages, people have believed that somewhere inside us hides a secret passenger, a ghostly roommate who slips out when the body takes its last breath. Some said it floated to heaven, others warned it might tumble down to hell, and a few imagined it sticking around to spook people in drafty castles. It's a charming idea, isn't it? A little spooky, a little comforting, and honestly, kind of convenient. Who wouldn't want a built-in ticket to the afterlife? But Buddhism takes a gentler, surprising turn. It asks, what if there is no soul at all? No hidden spark quietly glowing behind the eyes? No eternal puppet master pulling strings? Just karma, the law of action and consequence, endlessly shaping life. The ancients spoke of four elements: earth, water, air, and fire, flesh, blood, breath, and warmth. When life ends, these simply return to nature, like ingredients going back into the kitchen. No ghost necessary. So if the soul is more story than fact, what does that mean for us? That's the journey we'll take together. Slowly, gently, and maybe with a smile. According to ancient teachings, the human body is made up of four elements: earth, water, air, and fire. Earth is our flesh, water is our blood, air is our breath, and fire is the vital heat and energy within the body. The metabolic flame that keeps us alive. When death arrives, these four elements dissolve and return to nature. Buddhism agrees with this old view, but it goes deeper. It says the four elements are only one part of what makes us human. In fact, we are shaped by 5 factors, called the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. The 4 elements belong to the first aggregate, form. The first form, the physical body, and the 6 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the basic awareness in the mind. The second feeling, simply what we sense: joy, sadness, pleasure, pain, hot or cold. It connects the body's signals with the imagination and perception that come after. The third, mental formations: our intentions, choices, and habits, from deliberate actions to unconscious reflexes. They show up in 3 places: our body, our speech, and our thoughts. From these, karma is created. Without this aggregate, a human being would be like an immobile object, without will or movement. The fourth, consciousness, more subtle. It is the awareness of self and the universe. Animals cannot reach this level, in part because their brains lack the structures to awaken it. In many religions, consciousness is worshipped as the soul, the will of God, or some sacred intelligence. But Buddhism regards these as human projections. Only a few people in history may have touched this awareness directly. In Buddhism, consciousness is not ordinary thought. Ordinary thought, knowledge, memory, science, it belongs to form. It is limited, bound by time and space. Consciousness, by contrast, is unbounded. It can move beyond time and space, but it awakens only through deep meditation. Finally, the fifth, perception, also called imagination. This faculty frequently misleads people into conflating its activity with the existence of a soul. This faculty is powerful but also misleading, often mistaken for the soul itself because of the way it projects and simulates experience. It is an invisible process within us, just like consciousness, and it's always at work. It shows itself in dreams, daydreams, visions, and sparks of creativity. Many mistake its activity for the presence of a soul, when in reality it is the mind's own projector, replaying and inventing images. When our senses go quiet in sleep, imagination produces dreams. That is not the soul leaving the body, it is perception doing its work. So how did so-called prophets and psychics gain their information? It was through this power of perception. Some of them trained themselves with special methods, learning to partially control it, guiding it with conscious thought. Yet perception does not receive information the way the physical senses do, not through eyes, ears, nose, or body. Instead, it works differently. It can tune into impressions scattered in the surrounding world. It can reach backward into the past or forward into the future, 5 years, 10 years, even decades ahead. And the person feels as if it is never wrong. They often communicate these impressions through symbolic images, perhaps of the dead or of a divine being, projected by their own imagination to serve as a bridge. They do not realize that the information was already dispersed in space, and perception merely connected with it. This explains why some figures in history seemed able to predict disasters or speak with the unseen. But still, the ability is unstable. Without proper training, people confuse perception with the soul, mistaking imagination for divine truth. In the modern era, the illusion persisted. During the Cold War, governments gathered psychics as remote viewers, hoping imagination could serve as intelligence. For a time, some produced results, but the projects collapsed because imagination could never equal the accuracy of science or the steady labor of awareness. Cosmic memory metaphor. The universe is like a vast cloud drive, an infinite storage where every piece of information, every image, every trace of knowledge from millions of years still exists. Nothing is truly lost. The human brain, through the subtle power of perception and imagination, can sometimes reach into this archive and project fragments back to us. Yet throughout history, people have misunderstood this ability, mistaking it for the world of souls, spirits, gods, and demons. It is not unlike sitting down to watch old family videos of loved ones who have passed away. The images are vivid, the voices familiar, so real that they stir the deepest emotions. But they are not the living soul of that person. They are recordings, appearances without essence. Real in sensation, yet not real in being. In the same way, our brain can retrieve and replay echoes from the great storage of the cosmos. It functions like a projector, casting onto the screen of our mind what already rests in the universe as memory. And what we often call the supernatural may, in truth, be nothing more than the astonishing capacity of the human mind, reaching into this boundless archive and reflecting it back as dream, vision, or imagination. For thousands of years, this misunderstanding has shaped human history. Out of confusion, people have poured in their time, their labor, their wealth, even their blood, sweat, and tears, to build up an illusory world of spirits and unseen powers. A world born not from truth, but from fear. And from that fear came endless suffering. Wars fought in vain. Battles waged not for wisdom or peace, but to serve the ambitions of the few who knew how to exploit those illusions. So what happens when we die? The body dissolves, and the 5 aggregates, while including perception, dissolve too. What people call the soul or divine spirit is only the projection of a living brain, born of memory and imagination. Sometimes it hits truth, often it misleads. But when the aggregates end, nothing remains. No ghost departs, no eternal passenger escapes. Life simply returns to life. As we saw in our last journey, rebirth is not carried by a soul, but by karma, the weight of our own actions moving along frequencies we ourselves set in motion. This body, with all its elements, dissolves when death comes. Memories and impressions do not float away as ghosts. They live only in the minds and subconscious of those who remain. This is the Buddhist teaching of impermanence. Everything shifts, everything passes. Even fear itself will vanish when death arrives. So why cling to it now? With this understanding, we see the world a little differently. Nothing is permanent, yet within this truth lies a strange peace. If all must pass, then grief, longing, and even despair are but shadows. And what remains is the chance to live clearly, freely, and without fear. If you found this video meaningful, please subscribe and like. It is the encouragement that allows me to continue exploring these ancient theories, to bring small pieces of wisdom into our modern world, where suffering so often grows from material desire and endless crisis. And so, the story does not end here. In our next video, we will wander deeper into the mysteries that still lie beyond words. Until then, let your mind stay curious, your heart stay calm, and your spirit wait for what is yet to be revealed.